Welcome to Cupid's Logic, where love meets predictive intelligence. We decode attraction, conflict, attachment, and compatibility, so you can know if it will last before you commit.
You say, "I'm sorry." Your partner says, "It's okay." Then you both go to bed, and 3 days later, the room still feels cold. The argument is over, technically. The words have been exchanged. But something in the relationship has not come home yet. That gap between the apology and the return to safety may tell you more about your relationship than the argument itself.
Welcome to Cupid's Logic. I am your host, Craig Pruitt, and today we are diving into the recovery lag forecast, how long it takes a couple to feel safe, connected, and functional again after conflict. Not perfectly cheerful, not instantly agreeable, just able to look at each other without the old injury filling the room. Because some couples have a difficult argument at lunch and are genuinely reconnecting by dinner. Other couples apologize quickly and remain emotionally stranded for days.
We usually measure conflict by its intensity. How loud was it? Who started it? Who had the better facts? But the aftermath is where the relationship reveals its operating system. Does someone build a bridge back, or does everyone simply stop talking? Does responsibility become clearer, or does the apology close the door? And when the same pressure appears next week, is anything different?
Recovery lag is the time between a rupture and a genuine return to connection. It is not a stopwatch, a diagnosis, or a universal deadline. One person may need an hour to settle down. Another may need a full night. Stress, health, trauma history, neurodiversity, and the meaning of the conflict can all change the timeline. So be honest with yourself. Speed is not the measure. Direction is.
Picture a couple arguing about money. One partner says, "I am too activated to do this well. I need an hour. I will come back at 8. The other partner is still hurt, but they know what the pause means. At 8, the conversation is uncomfortable. Nobody has magically become wise, but they are back. There is a path through the discomfort.
Now imagine the same disagreement somewhere else. One person walks away and stops responding. No return time is named. The phone stays unanswered. By midnight, the question is no longer, how do we solve the budget? It is, are we okay? Is this relationship still here? Both people may call it taking space, but space and absence are not the same thing. A healthy pause usually carries 3 things: communication, a return point, and emotional responsibility. Communication might sound like, "I need to calm down." A return point might be, "Let's talk after dinner," or "I cannot do tonight, but I will check in tomorrow morning." Emotional responsibility means the pause is not being used to punish, frighten, or make the other person earn reconnection.
Of course, a promise to return is not a magic spell. Someone can name a time and still avoid the issue. That is why the first signal is accessibility. When the intensity drops, can each partner become emotionally reachable enough for repair to begin? Not instantly agreeable, not forced to touch, talk, or forgive on command. Reachable enough to say, "I am still here. I need more time, but I am not abandoning this conversation."
Accessibility can be small. A softer tone, one uninterrupted sentence, a message that says, "I am thinking about what happened," sitting nearby if closeness feels welcome. These are not performances to demand from a partner. They are signs of movement toward contact. And if someone is frightened, intimidated, threatened, or dealing with ongoing coercion, pressure for accessibility can make things worse. Safety comes first. This framework is for ordinary relationship conflict, not unsafe dynamics.
The second signal is accountability. A quick apology can lower the temperature, but the word sorry does not automatically repair the injury. Sometimes it is used to end the conversation. "Fine, I said I was sorry, what more do you want?" That may stop the argument, but it leaves the hurt person carrying the entire meaning of what happened.
Accountability is more specific. "I interrupted you repeatedly, and I can see how that made you feel dismissed." Or, "I made a decision about our money without telling you. I understand why that damaged your trust. Notice what is absent: humiliation and surrender. A person can still explain their perspective while owning their contribution. Context can explain behavior, but it should not erase impact. I was exhausted may be true. It does not make the sharp words harmless.
The third signal is follow-through. This is where an apology becomes evidence, or fails to. If the conflict was about interruptions, does the person make room for you during the next difficult conversation? If it was about disappearing under stress, do they send a brief update instead of going silent? If harsh words caused the rupture, do they slow down when the familiar trigger appears? The change does not have to be perfect. It does have to be visible. A fast apology followed by the same behavior can create emotional debt. The words say, "We are fine." The pattern says, "Nothing has changed." Over time, one partner becomes hyper-vigilant, waiting for the next rupture. The other feels unfairly judged because they believe the matter was already resolved. The conversation closes, but the system does not improve.
This is also where pursuit and withdrawal can lock a couple into a cycle. Distance feels dangerous to one person, so they send more messages and ask for more reassurance. Pressure feels overwhelming to the other, so they retreat farther. The more one reaches, the more the other disappears. That does not automatically mean one person loves more and the other loves less. It may mean their nervous systems are searching for safety in opposite directions, but the pattern still has to be managed. If one person needs an hour and the other needs a day, the relationship needs language for that gap. Otherwise, the hour feels like abandonment, and the day feels like pressure or control. Try a sentence like this: "I am not ready to resolve this yet, but I am still committed to us. I will reconnect tomorrow at 10. It does not erase the conflict. It protects the bond while both people process it.
You can notice your pattern without turning your relationship into a laboratory. Do not test your partner, provoke a fight, or keep a secret spreadsheet. Instead, after 3 disagreements that happen naturally, ask yourself one question. Did we create a reliable path back? How did the pause begin? Was there a return point? When contact resumed, was there accessibility, accountability, and any follow-through?
Then bring the pattern up during a calm moment, not as evidence against your partner, but as a design problem for both of you. You might say, "I have been thinking about what happens after we disagree. I do not want to blame either of us. I want us to understand how we get back to safety." Follow that with one concrete observation. When we stopped talking for 2 days, I became uncertain about where we stood. Specific moments are easier to hear than character judgments. When recovery lag is ignored, small ruptures accumulate. A forgotten promise joins every earlier disappointment. A delayed message activates the fear of being left again. A disagreement about chores suddenly carries the weight of months of unspoken hurt. Then a couple may decide they are incompatible, when part of the problem is that they never built a dependable route back to safety. So when you evaluate a relationship, do not ask only, "How often do we fight?" Ask whether you can take space without creating fear, return without forcing instant resolution, own your part without humiliation, and make the next version of the problem safer. A couple that takes 12 hours and reliably returns may be healthier than a couple that says sorry in 12 minutes and repeats the injury tomorrow. Consistency matters more than speed. Mutual effort matters more than perfection. Are you ready for the truth? You deserve to know whether the relationship you are building has a dependable way back from pain. You deserve more than chemistry during the good moments and confusion after the hard ones. At Cupid's Logic, we look at the patterns beneath attraction, conflict, emotional safety, and long-term compatibility. Visit cupidslogic.com for predictive relationship intelligence and a clearer way to understand the connection you are choosing. Thanks for listening to Cupid's Logic. Remember, you're not bad at relationships. You've been flying blind.
This has been Cupid's Logic. Stop flying blind in love. Visit cupidslogic.com and let the Prism engine reveal what your relationship data already knows.